Missed the usual exit by a couple signs. Didn't notice till the road bent west. The dashboard clock kept doing its job. The radio moved on to something else. A gas station stood alone by the shoulder. 3 cars parked under the same white lights. A woman walked out carrying flowers at 9:30 on a Tuesday night. Could've turned around, could've fixed it right away, but nothing felt urgent enough to make me hurry back. So I stayed on the road a little longer, past places I wasn't looking for. A different route, a different set of windows, a different row of stores. The city kept rearranging itself, 1 block at a time, and for a while that was enough. Past the diner I'd never noticed, even though I'd probably driven by before. Someone was stacking chairs near closing. Someone was sweeping the same small floor. A bus pulled out with 4 people on it. Nobody talking, nobody rushing home, just moving through another night. Funny how a wrong turn sometimes feels less wrong the farther you go, when there's nowhere you need to be except where the road decides. So I stay on the road a little longer, past places I wasn't looking for. A different route, a different set of windows, a different row of stores. The city kept rearranging itself, 1 block at a time, and for a while that was enough. Past an old warehouse turned into offices, past a sign I've never read out loud. Same streets, different angle, funny what stands out when you slow down. No big reason, no big plan, just me following pavement instead of following habit. Tonight that felt like enough. The longer way wasn't better, the shorter way wasn't wrong. I just kept driving till the road started feeling familiar again. I stayed on the road a little longer, long enough to lose track of the shortcut, long enough to stop comparing where I was to where I planned to be. The lights changed, the lanes merged, the city settled into a distance, and I went with it. Found my way back eventually, just not the way I expected. And honestly, I wouldn't change that part. Yeah. 10:15, same convenience store. The automatic door still hesitates. Same freezer humming by the drinks. Same lottery posters fading at the edges. I'd seen her there for months, maybe longer. Always stocking shelves or counting something behind the counter. Never said much, just enough. Funny how a familiar face can become part of a route without either person planning it. Then one night, the name tag changed. Same uniform, same register, same light above the door. But somebody else was standing there, and I stood a second longer than usual, trying to figure out why it felt different. Bought the same bottle I always buy. Forget the reason I came in for. The new guy asked if I needed a receipt. The old one never asked. She just handed over like she'd already memorized what most people wanted at that hour. It's strange what the mind keeps, not the important things, just the small details that show up often enough. Then one figure out why it felt different. Never knew where she went after work. Never knew what music she liked. Never knew if this was temporary or the job she'd had for years. We never exchanged names, never had a conversation longer than 10 seconds. Still somehow the absence arrived before the explanation. A week passed, then another. The new routine settled in like routines always do. No announcement, no final shift, just one person becoming another. The name tag changed, and eventually the store stopped feeling different. The drinks stayed cold, the shelves stayed full, the doors kept opening right on schedule. But every now and then I still expect to see the person who used to be there. 10:15. Same convenience store, same walk home. Just one less familiar face than before. Saw you by the station entrance a minute before the light changed. Same corner, same time as always. Coffee in one hand, phone in the other. At least that's how I remembered it. Most mornings looked that way. You were easy to place, like part of the route, part of the background, part of the things that stayed the same. Then something shifted, not much, just enough to make me look twice. Took me a second to realize it was you. Different jacket, different shoes, different way of carrying the day. Nothing dramatic, nothing new, just a version of you I hadn't seen before. And somehow that stayed with me. The old coat was gone, the one that showed up every week, the one I started expecting without meaning to. Now there was color where there wasn't, a different shape, a different pace. Even the way you crossed the street looked slightly unfamiliar. Funny how the smallest change can make someone stand out more than they ever did before. Took me a second to realize it was you. Different jacket, different shoes, a different way of carrying the day. Nothing dramatic, nothing new, just a version of you I hadn't seen before. And somehow that stayed with me. Maybe nothing changed at all, maybe it was always there. Maybe I only noticed because I wasn't expecting it. We get used to patterns, used to repetition, used to filing people away under simple descriptions, until one detail refuses to fit. The train arrived, the crowd moved forward, everyone returned to whatever they were doing before the rest of the day. I kept thinking about how easy it is to mistake familiar for permanent. It took me a second to realize it was you. Not because you disappeared, not because you became someone else, just different enough to remind me how little I actually know about the people I see all the time. Next week, you might wear the old jacket again, and everything will look familiar. But now I'll know there was always more than the version I expected. Third chair from the window, 10 minutes early, maybe 15. The clock above the mirror moves slower than the traffic outside. Someone flipped through a magazine without turning a page for a while. A kid in a soccer jersey kept spinning in circles near the door. The dryers hummed, the scissors clicked, conversations drifted in and out without asking anyone to listen. So I sat by the window, watching everybody else go somewhere. A man carrying takeout, two friends crossing on a late light, a bicycle cutting through the parking lot. Nothing happened for almost an hour, and somehow I didn't mind. The woman beside me looked at 3 different hairstyles and picked the first one again. A barber laughed at something I couldn't quite hear outside. A delivery truck blocked half the street. Nobody seemed surprised. Funny how waiting feels different when nobody's rushing you. Minutes stop acting like minutes and turn into something else. So I sat by the window, watching everybody else go somewhere. A man carrying takeout, 2 friends crossing on a late light, a bicycle cutting through the parking lot. Nothing happened for almost an hour, and somehow I didn't mind. Phone battery down to 20, didn't bother plugging it in, didn't bother checking the time. The city kept moving on schedule without my help for once. There wasn't anywhere else I needed to be. My name got called eventually. The waiting room emptied out. The soccer jersey disappeared. The magazines stayed where they were, like they'd never been touched. I sat by the window, long enough to forget what I was waiting for, long enough to notice the people I would've missed if everything had gone faster. The light outside shifted, the traffic changed, and the afternoon kept going without making a big deal about it. Third chair from the window, less crowded now. My turn finally came, but I think I like the waiting part too.